my screen. Where'd you go? Okay. Can you guys see my screen okay?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So hopefully you've been reading your GoPro book. I am loving rereading it, and it's funny because as I'm going through it, I always read on Kindle, and the things that I highlighted before are completely different than the things I'm highlighting. So I think it's important that, gosh, we should just put this as our, read this a couple times a year just to refresh ourselves, because it's really, really important. So this week, we're going to be talking about how to present your product or opportunity, which is really important. But first, I want to do a recap of skill number 2. And I want to thank Melanie again for teaching this and doing such a great job. Hopefully you got a chance to review the video if you missed it, or even review it, because skill number 2, I think the most important thing for a brand new person is teaching them how to invite. And a lot of people will really fall down on this because they're worried about what people think, or they feel like they've got to talk to somebody for, an hour before they ask them. And really, this is a business. We want to get people invited, and we can catch up with them later. So just to recap, step 1 was be in a hurry. Okay, hey, I don't have a lot of time right now, but, I thought of you, compliment, right? I thought of you because I know you a really health conscious mom, and I thought you'd be really interested in what I'm up to. And anyway, I'm having a little get together at my house, and I thought that it'd be information that you'd like to learn about. We're going to be talking about some children's health and how to flood their bodies with fruits and vegetables. So if I extended an invite to you, would you be able to come? Okay, I'm just winging this, you guys, just based off this. You could print this and put this on your desk, okay, when you're making these phone calls. And let them answer. Well, yeah, I would be. Okay, well, it starts at 7 o'clock next Wednesday night. Is that a time that will work for you? Yeah, it'll work. Okay, great. Okay, so if I send you a link, you'll be able to be on at 7 o'clock that night, or you'll be able to join us at 7 o'clock that night. Awesome. Okay, well, you know what? I'm going to give you a little reminder call. So how about if I give you a call on Tuesday night? What's your phone number, so I can make sure that, I'm just going to do reminder calls and make sure that you know how to get to my house or whatever, okay? So, and then you want to get off the phone, all right? That's it. Thank you. Great. I'll talk to you Tuesday night, give you a little reminder, and then I'm so excited that you can come on Wednesday night. It really is that super simple, okay? So you guys think you can do that? Go ahead.
I mean, if you get in that situation where people are like, well, tell me a little bit more. Well, I mean, what are you doing? I mean, I know we can go back to like the MLMU stuff and, things like that. But I mean, I know people say, well, what exactly do you mean? Or what do you, and I think if you're too generic and you don't give too much information, almost then, I mean, I know like from my perspective, I'd be like, okay, like, what is this?
Well, typically typically you're not cold calling people. They probably know what you're doing. If not, you would expand on that. So it'd be something like, hey, if you had no idea that I'm brand new in Juice Plus, and you might say, hey, Jen, I don't have a lot of time right now, but, I was thinking about you because I know you are such a health-minded dentist, and I'm having a get-together at my house about health and nutrition, and it's about a product called Juice Plus. I might even say that, okay? I mean, if you have no idea,
right?
If I extended you an invitation, would you be able to come?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's different than like not saying anything. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like that's a totally different invitation.
Here's my thing. I think it needs to be upfront, completely honest, and raw honesty, okay? Because we're here. We only want to talk to people. If you're interested, great, you can come. If you're not interested, good to know. I won't bother. I don't need to bother you, and I'm not going to waste my energy, right? So there's a little bit of attitude in here, but it's really more for the benefit of the person, right? How can we serve them? Right. So let me give you an example. So when I was in Mexico, this lady, I was talking to her. She owned a bar, super nice, love her. And eventually it came back around to, what do you do? And I said, well, do you know how people are trying to be really healthy and eat lots of healthy foods these days, and it's really hard to do? And she said, oh, yes, right. So I already knew she's totally into that. And I said, well, I don't have a lot of time right now because the show's about to start, but it seems to me like you're really interested in trying to stay as healthy. You look great. So if we're able to send you my mobile business card, would you take a few moments to look through it? It's got some videos and stuff. And she said, yeah. And I said, well, you think that you'd want to look at that now, or would you rather look at that at home? And she said, gosh, I'll probably look at it tonight. I said, great. So I'm going to send you the link. I got her the phone number. I got her phone number, texted her right there, showed her what it looked like and kind of what she was going to do. And I said, awesome. So, are you going to be at the show tomorrow night? And she said, yeah. I said, well, you know what? I'd love to hear what you think. So I'll see you tomorrow night at the show. And she said, great. And so I already had her number. I already knew she's going to be at the show. And so then I changed the subject. We talked every day during our whole vacation. The next day, she came into the show and I said, how are you? The first thing she said was, hey, I love Juice Plus. Got a chance to look at that mobile business card and I do have some questions. So I answered a few of her questions and then I said, hey, let's touch base on Tuesday when we both get home and I can answer any other questions that come up for you and help you get started then. She goes, great. So 15 more times after that, we never had to talk about it. So do you guys see how that can work in every situation?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So don't make it difficult. It doesn't need to be scripted. Okay. It can just be, you know what? Thought of you, make the invitation. If I could, would you? Or if I would you? Whatever. When is a good time? I want to confirm that time. And when's a great place for me to get back with you? What's a good time? Awesome. Get off the phone. Hey, I've got a whole bunch of other people I got to get a hold of right now, but I'll look forward to seeing you on Tuesday night at my house. Just simple. Does everybody feel like they can do that?
Yep.
Okay. All right, so let's get into the presenting part. So now it's time to talk to them about what we do or Juice Plus or whatever. And so the thing we've got to remember is it's not about you. So many people get so nervous, like, oh, I don't know what to say. I could never do what you do. We start to hear these things. It's not about you. You're a consultant. You're not an expert, okay? Especially if you're just getting started. You don't need to feel like you're an expert. And I just want to take a moment on this too. One is Juice Plus is a pretty simple idea. It's fruits and vegetables in a capsule. Okay, are you eating enough? Would you like to flood your body with fruits and vegetables? It's an easy way to do it. Yes, we have some research, and yes, we could make it very technical, but do we need to? We really don't, okay? There's 35 published studies, going to be 40 soon, we learned at conference. So I love knowing that there's research, okay? But I don't need to talk to somebody about the DNA study and how it works, all right? So we don't want to overwhelm people with how smart we are. It's, you're a consultant. You're providing an on-ramp to help them get more fruits and vegetables into their body, okay? Here's the other thing. If you think that you have to know more to share a tool of fruits and vegetables that help everybody needs that is so easy for them to do, you're never going to get there, because even now I have to look something up almost every day. Or I have to go out into my Voxer chats and ask other people, hey, what do you know about this or this? So, our goal here is to connect people to the tools, not to be the expert, okay? So we want to educate versus sell. I know nobody likes to be a salesperson. Nobody likes to be sold to. So one of the things I say to people is I say, look, you know what? I love that I don't have to sell Juice Plus. We've got 35 published studies. Why don't I give you some information? You can educate yourself. I think it'll be pretty straightforward for you. And if it's for you, great. If not, no hard feelings. But I love it, and I think you're going to love it too.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I love this little little thing. He says, if you want freedom, in network marketing, it doesn't matter what works. It only matters what, oops, I need a little fix that one. Only matters what duplicates. And I don't know about you, but if you've been around a long time, some of us, and I'm guilty of this to this day still, I know that I can go talk to somebody and be the expert, and I can get them on Juice Plus, okay? But that may work to help them get on Juice Plus, or maybe even join our team. But if they don't feel like they can turn around and tell that same information to their husband, their friend, or their mom, and it can't duplicate, we're not going to have freedom. You're always going to be working too hard. And this is kind of like the telephone game. If you can share that story and share it to the next person, that's really the best thing. So if you do what duplicates, you're going to be able to share with a few people, your business is going to be humongous, and you aren't even going to know some of these people down here, in your group, but they're going to be sharing it with their friends. And it's just because you shared it with a few of their friends and helped them to teach them how to share with a few of their friends, and maybe even taught this group how to share with a few of these friends. But you're not going to have a big effect on this level down here. You can't really even touch this level, but who can is this group here. So if we keep things simple enough where it can just spread right down, very quickly, you wonder how some of these people are going national marketing director in such a quick time. That's how, is they're just keeping it so super simple, okay? If you're the expert and you've got to go and be in all these groups, this is what your group's going to look like. And we don't want it to look like this, okay? You want it to be like, the grandma who had 10 babies, not the grandma that had one baby. So we want a bigger family reunion down here at the bottom. Okay? So it's not all about you. Okay, so the pros, we use tools instead of our own wisdom. And just like I could have sat there with that lady and I could have told her all about Juice Plus, I could have even explained the DNA study because I love that kind of stuff. Do you think that that would have been very effective versus me just sending her my mobile business card?
Yeah, no.
No, why? Why do you think that is?
Because it's too much and it's overwhelming.
And she has to do what? I have to assume that she's going to do what?
Absorb it.
But absorb it and like me, believe me, and trust me, right?
Yeah.
Versus me just being a consultant and sending her some information. Okay. We use our events instead of our own presentations. So anytime you can plug somebody else into, a larger event where there's a video or there's another person who's talking, like a Prevention Plus talk, or a great example of this is Melanie and I, when we team up and we do luncheons together, now that I'm living closer, it's been so fun for me because we've been both able to invite to those events, and my friends don't have to believe me. They get to hear Mel's story, and her friends don't have to believe her. They get to hear my story. So we're using each other to be able to get that information out there. So that works really well. Pros don't present themselves as the expert. You can say, gosh, you know what? I got the information, love to pass it on. And we invite people, okay? We invite people to learn more. And that's all we're doing. So if you think that you're selling, you're really not. Are you facilitating somebody ordering? Absolutely. Are you asking them if they'd like to order? Yes, because you're doing good customer service. That's different than being a salesperson or being pushy, okay? The people that, and I was explaining this to one of our cute gals today I was on the phone with, and she's just getting started. And, there's always this fear of, gosh, I don't want to be pushy. And so I always use the analogy of the girls, we like to shop at Nordstrom and we go get our cute things to try on. And then we go in the dressing room. And one of the beauties of shopping at Nordstrom is they usually have great customer service, and they come in and they check on you and ask you if you need another size. But we've all been in that situation where, gosh, we just need a different color or a different size, and they never come back. It is so annoying because then we have to get redressed, go out on the floor, and find it ourselves. So we don't want to be like that when we're presenting to people where all of a sudden we've left them in the dressing room and nobody ever came back to check on them, right? The other thing that can happen in that dressing room is that you get the overzealous salesperson who keeps bringing you different colors and things that you didn't even want to try on and weren't interested. You had your mindset on maybe getting this one thing, and now you've got 30 different things to try on. And basically they've overwhelmed us with all of this stuff, and we don't really know what to do, and we can't even find the thing we were looking for. And so we get frustrated and maybe even leave the store and buy nothing. So that would be like overwhelming somebody with too many facts and being that expert of, oh, let me tell you about the DNA study, and oh, let me tell you about there's 30 different raw fruits and vegetables, blah, 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 and enzymes, and I've done that, you guys. I've talked people into Juice Plus and right out by overwhelming their dressing room with too many facts, okay? So, but we do want to give people the information, and we do want to set up a time to come back and check on them And then we want to ask them if they're ready to get started. So the other thing that is annoying to me is when they never come back and ask me, would you like me to put this at the register? That's a buying question because I want them to carry that up to the register for me so I can finish trying some things on or look around the store. So we've got to come back and invite people to look at the products, but also follow up with them and not feel like we're being a salesperson, we're being professional, and then ask them, gosh, you know what, would you like to just get started? Okay, would you like to try it? All right, then we want to encourage and teach independence within their own team. So again, we don't want to be the one doing all the work all the time. We want to empower people and show them an easy way for them to share so that they can, so that then their team will grow as well. Okay, so what we're not doing is being, oh, I don't want to be pushy, and we want to be passionate. We want to have some enthusiasm. We want to be excited about what we're talking about. And you know what? We want to get educated enough ourselves that we have solid belief in the fact that Juice Plus is great stuff, and we know that it will help people so that we can help them be healthier and be part of that mission that people want to be a part of that. You know, they want to be part of something that's greater than themselves, and they want to help their friends too. They just do. Okay, so the pros learn how to present. So here's the thing, whoever is in the front of the room is the one that's making the higher average income. That's just the way it is. So if you want to make a bigger income, you've got to be willing to get up and step in front of that room. And Mel, I'm going to have you share a story here in a minute, okay? And you want to learn how to give a short but effective testimonial. That's the presentation, okay? People aren't interested in how much you know, but they are interested in why you're doing it or in your story. So Mel, will you share your experience today, what happened, what you did? I'm so proud of you.
Oh, thank you. Well, I did a presentation today with a room full of medical professionals at my child's vision therapy group. There was about 12 of them in the room. And, you know, really, I had 30 minutes and I brought them lunch and everybody was super excited about the lunch and it was healthy and delicious and all that kind of stuff. But I really only had time to just share my story and what Juice Plus was and why I love it and why I think it could be great for them and for their patients. And really this bigger mission of what we're doing here at Juice Plus of inspiring healthy living around the world and giving people simple tools as an on-ramp to taking control of their health, just like it had done for me, you know, 8 years ago. And it was amazing how many great compliments in the conversations that kind of came out of that. And it was really, really cool. And I didn't feel like it was this big presentation. They had zero electronics for me to use. Even if I would have brought my own computer, it just really wasn't going to work in the room and the environment that they had set up. So I really just shared my story, what Juice Plus was, threw around some little postcards of all the things that are in Juice Plus. I let people share what Juice Plus, the Juice Plus capsules, got to show them what I ate every day. I gave them little samples of gummies. I shared about how we had gone on this journey from, I couldn't even figure out how to get my kids to eat this stuff. I thought it was a really good idea to eat all this great food, but there was no way my kids were going to eat that. We went from this gap being really, really, really big to getting smaller and smaller over time to all of a sudden, you know, changing our kids' eating habits by flooding their body with a bunch of fruits and vegetables. And then I was like here, and then, you know, all of a sudden my kids are wanting to eat those things, and the Tower Garden came out, and then all of a sudden we're growing our own food, and my gap just continues to get smaller and smaller. And what an amazing tool that is that we have with Juice Plus in our product line of helping people to bridge that gap. And I was really, you know, when I asked for that I could come to share, I really used that, well, if I could show you guys a way that you could simply help your patients to improve their vision and their nutrition so that they could really, really have significant health differences and changes, do you think that that would be beneficial? Would that be something that you guys would be willing to learn about? And they were like, yeah. It's like, if I could bring you lunch on this date, would you guys be open? And they were like, yeah. So it really was just an awesome, easy thing to do. I mean, I think people just want to share, they want to hear.
And what did you ask? What was the last question you asked them?
What was the last question that I asked them?
You asked them if they would be willing to.
Oh. Would they be willing to share this with their families that are really having a hard time with getting all this good nutrition in?
And they said?
And it said, yes, let's continue that conversation. So I set up a time to meet with the head doctor tomorrow at noon. She's going to go ahead and get her family started. And then, I only had 30 minutes, so it was very, very small. But I do feel like I was able to ask them if they would be willing to join us on our mission and share this with their people. I asked them first, do you think that this is something that their patients could benefit from hearing about?
Good question.
We're like, absolutely.
That's great, Mel.
Great job. So,
Well, and the interesting thing is I was kind of asking for their patients, but what they were really saying is sitting there going, oh my gosh, I need this for myself first. The doctor ordering for herself and her kids. She has 3 boys just like I do.
and she's putting her order in. So, isn't that great? So she shared her story. So here's the elements of your story. And you could hear this in Mel's story. Her background was that she didn't like the fact that she knew she should feed her family well, but she was unable to do that. And then how did Juice Plus come to the rescue? And, what were her results? She talked about, well, now they're growing their own food on the Tower Garden, and her kids eat all these crazy, amazing things. So it was very short, it was 30 to 45 seconds, but it was a story that mattered in that decision for all of those people to be interested. Okay. So that's the best presentation you can do is your story. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So so I just wrote mine up, and I would encourage you guys this week to write your story down with just those elements. And there's in the book, you can also look, and it gives you what to do. And I rewrote my story. I just said, hi, my name is Regan Dean. This might be something I might not say, hi, my name is Regan Dean if I'm talking to somebody I know, obviously. But, and together with my husband Richard, we previously owned a home building company in the Denver area. With the ups and downs of the real estate market, I was looking for a way to put a safety net around our family's income and future. I was introduced to Juice Plus in 2003, and it forever changed my life. It took me just 2 years to create a 6-figure reoccurring income with a full benefits package. And the best part is that in addition to an ever-growing paycheck, I get to be on a mission with the most amazing people on the planet who are inspiring healthy living around the world. So do you guys see the elements there that you put in there? You can put in there? I'm so much more excited about that story than what I've been saying in the past for my business story. Do you guys like it?
Yeah.
Okay. Product story.
Yeah.
Hey, my name's Reagan. As a busy wife and mom, I found it really difficult to get enough fruits and vegetables into our diets. And with picky eaters and our crazy schedules, I found that much of the produce I did buy ended up rotting in the fridge and feeding the trash can. And when I found out my kids could eat Juice Plus for free, we all started taking it. I noticed immediate changes in our health. My kids stopped going to the doctor for illness, and they even started eating salads. My husband's sinus issues went away, and I recovered faster from my workouts. Adding Juice Plus saved us lots of money on medical bills, helping us to completely change our eating habits, and we feel terrific. We wouldn't be without Juice Plus flooding our bodies with fruits and vegetables every day, I probably should say. So do you guys see the difference there? You see the background, how I was, how it saved me, right?
Yeah.
And what I see going forward.
It's a good success story. That's what people like to hear.
Yeah, and it doesn't have to be, I didn't have to go into, and my son got strep throat every 4 days. I didn't have to do that. I used to do that, but you don't need to do that. So I hope you'll take the time to kind of write out your product story and know what it is. And I may not say, you should probably memorize it now so you have it. I know what my story is, so I can tell you that story. It may not be word for word that. And that's where you'll get to. But until you can remember it, you're really talking about 5 points you've got to remember. Okay? So write it, record it, memorize it, and the more you tell it, the more confident you'll be. Okay? The easier it gets. Okay? And you can always have that story. I'm actually have my new stories printed out so that I can have them when I make phone calls. And I had a referral while I was in Mexico, and because I want to share that new story with her, I have it printed out on my desk, so when I talk to her on a follow-up call, it just is a reminder for me what to say. Just a little something that makes it easy. Okay, so you want to tell your story to your prospects, to other people's prospects. Okay, what that means is not other distributors' prospects, okay, but other people, like your prospects, people they know. Okay, we did that with our list. Remember, who do you know and who do they know? Okay, so who does your mother know? Who would be her prospects? You want to share that story. Maybe it's to some of your other distributors that are on your team's prospects, right? Three-way calls, conference calls, webinars. You could share that story online. You know, when Judy put together the Transform 30 Facebook page, she did a beautiful job of putting her story underneath one of the posts. So that would be something you could copy and paste right over into your Facebook party page, right? And of course you want to share it at live events. And live events are anything from anytime you're, well, let's just make it easy. Anytime you're eyeball to eyeball, ear to ear, belly button to belly button with somebody, that's a live event, okay? And that could be with a group of people or one-on-one. Okay, so the person with the marker makes the money. We talked about that. So we've got to be able to share your story about Juice Plus. You've got to be able to share a little bit about, you know, what you do and why you're excited about what you do and why is it a great opportunity. You also want to be able to how to help somebody get started. What's some basic training on how to help them get started? Because that's part of a presentation too. If you've got somebody who's just joined your team, we better know how to kind of get them started. That's a presentation. And then how to keep people inspired. What's your inspiration training? I mean, for me right now, my message is I love our mission. I love that our mission inspires other people to make great health changes. And with the mission comes a really nice business. But, you know, people want to join a mission. They want to be doing something that inspires them, right? That's inspiring to me. And my other inspirational training right now I'm doing is that, you know what? We need to lighten up and have fun and enjoy what we're doing. If we're having fun in our business, we're going to continue sharing Juice Plus. If we start getting all heavy and comparing ourselves to other people, I will tell you that there will always be somebody more successful who makes more money, is prettier, is skinnier, is taller, you know, has a nicer car, whatever, right? So you don't want to get into that. You want to enjoy what you're doing and think about who can I serve today? You know, who can I go out and inspire? So what presentations work? Here they are. I mean, there's many more. I could keep going here, but one-on-ones, Facebook parties, in-home parties, send somebody a video link, your mobile business card, handing somebody a DVD or CD, you know, with an appointment to follow up with them, you know, to when did they commit to watching that? Doing a three-way call, doing a three-way Zoom call. I do three-way Zoom calls all the time. Love them. And then events. And that's, you know, anytime you can do any of these things, it's an event. And those that tell the story the most are the ones that are going to do the best. They're going to have more people join as customers. They're going to have more people join their team. Okay? Just the way it is. So have fun with what you do. Be interested in other people. How could this serve them? Okay, so this week, here's your homework. Schedule at least 3 upcoming opportunities to share your story with others. So that means first thing you want to do is craft that story. Take the time. It literally took me 5 minutes to rewrite my story with that. And most of it was crossing stuff out that really wasn't necessary. Put some events on your calendar. Schedule some stuff. Maybe you want to do something fun. Maybe you want to do a Transform 30 get together with some of your friends. Now's a great time to do that. Maybe you want to do a Healthy Kids event. Maybe you want to do a Facebook party. Judy's doing a Facey Health Book party. She just shared with me today. It's beautiful. Maybe there's a Prevention Plus lecture coming into wherever you are, and you could invite some people to that. Bobby and Patty, they've got boot camp, or it's a boot camp regional coming up in South Florida. They could be inviting some of their team to come to that, or even a new person, right? And then this is what really important, you guys, is start tracking your results. So if you wrote down your list, like you should have in week 1, and start tracking and put it on an Excel spreadsheet or however you want to do it, start tracking who said yes and who said no. And you'll start to know what your ratio is, and then you'll know where you need to work. Mm-hmm. Okay? So as far as presentation goes, it doesn't matter. There is no magic presentation. The most important presentation is why you love Juice Plus, product and business, and what is an on-ramp, Okay, I love that word. What's an on-ramp to get that information, that education into somebody else's hands? Okay. So anybody have any comments?
I liked how easily you had your business. You shared 2 presentations, Reagan. One was your business one. What was the first one?
The product story and my business story.
Okay.
I just keep them separate, but sometimes I'll combine them.
Excuse me?
I said I like to have them separate because sometimes I'm only talking to people about the product originally, and sometimes I'm talking to them about joining our team as a team member. But
Okay.
I'm talking to them about both, so I can combine those very easy.
Yeah.
I
I liked how easily it just seemed to be a conversation.
Yeah.
There wasn't any, it was just very natural how you'd share a book that you just read.
And that's as easy, if it's that easy, you guys, and it was that easy for you to share with somebody else, they're going to copy you and they're going to make it that easy to share with you. So you don't want to be scripted and having your brain be thinking about, okay, well, when they say this, then I'll say this. And then they say that, because I can tell you what will happen is they won't say what they were supposed to. And then you'll get all like, I didn't know what to say. So you want to really, the most important thing is for you to listen and just remember, those few key points. And I would say if you really want to get good at it, have an in-home event, print that out, print those points out and print your story out and be at your home where you can read it from the phone. Nobody knows you're reading if it's in your words.
Yeah.
And you do that 3 or 4 times. You won't need those silly things after that. It'll just come natural for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even when you're out and about, you'll be able to leave the house after 10 phone calls and invites. You run into your girlfriend at the coffee shop and say, oh my gosh, you'll be able to say the same thing there. Okay?
Reagan?
Yeah,
I rewrote my business story. Can I share it?
absolutely.
Okay, I'm going to read it a little bit because, well, I guess it's my story. I should be able to remember it, right?
Yep.
I used to work in the grocery business behind the bakery counter as a cake decorator. I really love that job because I was able to be creative with the icing, and most of all, I love the customers by interacting with them. But frankly, I got tired of working my butt off while my overpaid boss took all the credit and the bonuses. Then I found the Juice Plus company, a place where my creativity is appreciated, a place where I figured out that my passion is really interacting with people. And guess what? I'm getting paid for doing that and helping them change their lives, become healthier and wealthier. And the best part is, I'm being recognized for that.
Beautiful. Great job.
It's emotional, and I want to stress to all of you, I've been trying to work on a story forever, and I've been having a story, but it didn't ever touch me. And so I figured out, wow, if it's not touching me, it's not really touching anyone else. So I really urge all of you to rewrite your stories because it worked for me.
Well, and I know we're over, but I have to tell you guys one more, and I'm sorry about that, but I have to tell you guys one more little story that I learned at Tony Robbins. Men tend to be more direct, right? And that works for them. They're like, look, you know what? You just go down to the corner, turn right, it's at the store. Where girls are like, oh, well, I had to get a new suitcase. Like he had his wife shirts, and she said, I had to get a new suitcase, because the wheel was loose. Anyway, it used to be a leopard colored one, but I don't know. I walked down the street and I saw, there was a bunch of stuff on the street, and then there was this one place on the left that had a little market. Oh, and they had the cutest things in the market. Oh my gosh. And then you turn right, and she goes on and on and on. And they call that breadcrumbs. And so women, we tend to leave breadcrumbs with all these little details all the time. And the reason why we do that is to help all the other women, right? So it's okay for you to have some breadcrumbs in your story to be thinking about. For me, when I was thinking about that, like what really resonated with me? What's the true story? Why did I start Juice Plus? Well, because I was a mom who struggled and knew I should feed my kids better. So I really am relating with other moms that cannot get their kids to eat healthy, right? And being able to not have to go to the doctor and all of that. So I was like, how can I craft a story that has just enough breadcrumbs in there that I can assist them with that information and have them really relate with that without having so many breadcrumbs that I lose them all in the process. So be careful not to get it too long either, because you may lose some of the people that maybe are guys or when people that are just a little bit more direct. Okay.
Hey, Reagan,
Yeah.
Okay.
question I have. So if you have someone who has been a customer for a period of time and they seem to be really liking your product, as we all know, the next step is supposed to be inviting them to look at the business. What would you say would be a good way of inviting for that in relationship to them being already a decent customer, you know, a good, happy client?
Okay, so hold on. I'm going to go back to here. So, what do they love about their Juice Plus? Did you ask them?
I hadn't, this isn't current. I was just thinking of people that I want to talk to.
So, who do you want to talk to? What do you think they like about their Juice Plus?
Well, this one particular person, I don't know all that well. I kind of got them as someone who with their business, and I got them as a client that I don't know them. I've only talked to them once.
And why do you want them on your team?
I don't know. And that's what I want to investigate, because I don't know who they are. But they seem to be happy customers. So I would, they seem to be, I don't know. I mean, I've only talked to them one time briefly, and I just would like to, get to know them a little bit better and find out.
Yeah. So it might be that you need to get to know them a little bit better.
Okay.
And find out, why did they get on Juice Plus, and what are they liking about it? And, what were their health goals? And so being curious and being interested in them. And let's say that they were like, oh my gosh, because I can't get my kids to eat one green thing. Well, gosh, you know what? I don't have a lot of time right now, but, it sounds to me like you're a really health conscious mom, and we've got this, we've got the wonderful children's health study that you're already on. So I'm so glad you did that. But I bet some other moms that are struggling with the same thing. Am I right? Well, gosh, if I sent you a little link that would show you how you could benefit from sharing with some other moms, would you take a look so that we can help inspire their families as well? You see, I'm just going down the list here. I can keep this on my desk and do that.
Great.
Okay, I can use that in any situation, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So that's back to skill 2. That's perfecting that skill 2.
Right.
And then it's like, you share your story and share why it made sense to you. And maybe your story also crafts into a little bit of why you feel it would help them. Might help you too. I think you'll love it. I think you would love being able to share with some of the other families, maybe offset the cost of your own product, whatever. Can we get together for coffee? When would be a good time?
Hey,
Great.
Reagan,
See you Wednesday.
Reagan, I have a question. I have my book here, and I have all the, going back to the list that you just went over in chapter 2. Do you have that down in a PowerPoint for you? Do you share your PowerPoint with us?
Absolutely. I'm happy to share my PowerPoint with you.
I would love to have a copy. How do I get it?
Well, I'll put it in the GoPro. I kind of have them all linked into one. So I can copy this one into one for you after I correct my mistakes so Missy doesn't get on me.
The editor.
And Patty. Patty's my other proofreader of the team, my proofreaders. And then I'll put it up on Facebook for a link for you.
Okay.
Okay.
I appreciate it.
That would be great.
Absolutely. All right, you guys, we're way over. I love you. So sorry. I try not to do that, but thank you for taking time. And
Great. We haven't seen you in a couple of weeks, so like 3 weeks.
okay.
3 or 4 weeks. So we
I hate going over. It's like it just and we're way over. So love you guys.